Sorry.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh yeah, how long is that going on?
It was just for a couple days. Like,
Okay.
I still have the link that people can, that I get a percentage of what goes through it, but I
Mm.
mostly just got paid for the one stream, and I actually just like the game. I've been having fun with it.
Yeah, it looked cool. I want to check it out, but I'm just going to be very busy for the next 2 months. Basically, all my free time's wrapped up.
All good.
You know, because I'm a full-time TFT streamer now.
I didn't recognize it until Are we live?
We're live, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, never mind.
Nice.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
As you're saying.
Let's
get on tape this time.
I wasn't saying much. So I will kick us off though. New Runeterra set is out. Obviously, we're jamming, and I have been having a lot of fun. It went from like super burned out like 2-3 weeks ago, where I was just like, I don't want to play this game. Like recording for YouTube's like literally the last thing I want to do right now. I'm just gonna run to Kaisa and like tilt off the face of the earth, or something, right? And then like things changed and the meta changed, and I got to take my break, and I came back, and like I was at the gym and I was like hitting sets of squats, and I was like, damn, my legs are kind of tired. I need to take a slightly longer break in between sets. Let me load up some Runeterra. And I'm like jamming games at the gym and stuff, right? Like, it's so nice to be on stream and stuff and just be like, oh, one more game. I just want to play one more game, right? Which is very different than it was about a month ago.
It's very cool. We've definitely got the rise of the Ionia metagame coming back again, though. It's I don't know exactly how to feel about that.
I do.
I have always had issues with these Ionia decks and like actually making them work. You know, whether it was Lee Sin. I think the only Ionia deck I've ever actually really liked was like Ari Kennen. So like, you know, with the rise of like Ezreal Kennen, you know, Lee Sin's back on the menu with like Akshan. You know, Nami is going to Ionia for some reason. I don't know. I'm gonna have trouble like transitioning into this season. That said, I don't have to play Pink Nami. Fucking Green Nami is still really fucking good, and I think probably the better version.
I think it's the
Green
best Nami deck. Is the Shadow Isles. The Shadow Isles one, yeah. It's been my best performing deck. It's just really good. Even though I keep switching around to like all the different versions. I keep playing all these different versions of Lee. But yeah.
Also, I mean, if the world is going full Ionian nonsense, then now's the best time to play Shellfolk, right? That's gotta be good for you.
That's true.
Potentially. I mean, new Shellfolk deck out here taking ladder by storm. Norra Nami Shellfolk. It certainly is a deck that has Shellfolk in it.
I mean, of all the decks on ladder right now, I would definitely say it's one of them.
That is.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Wait, I thought you guys would be more on it, and I would, you know, come in with like a lukewarm take, you know, and there'd be a little bit back and forth. You also don't like the deck?
It's okay. It's fine, and it absolutely dumpsters my Lee Sin decks. Okay, first of all, I was playing, and they double mini-morphed my Lee Sins. I had 2 Lee Sins, mini-morph. I play Lee Sin third. They level Norra, hit the portal immediately, and get Minity.
That's how you do it.
I was like, I'm out of here. But I think like it's fine, and it can really dumpster some decks. Like the Wallop Minimorph, like duo is incredibly powerful. But I think it is I think it's the worst Nami variant.
I think that if we're talking Nami variants, then I don't think it's very good. I think if we're talking Shellfolk variants, then I also don't think it's very good. I think the stream of Shellfolk one is probably better, especially with the new 1 mana predict. I was playing against it on ladder today, and I swear, I just sat there while he stormed off. He, from 0 mana, filled the entire board with 2/1s. I'm just like, what? What do I do against this? Help!
That's really funny. Okay, so the Norra Nami deck, I think is probably like the worst Nami deck. I think there's like 4 Nami decks right now, if you count Floppy's P&Z one that he's swearing by. I think that the Norra Nami one's probably the worst Nami deck. But Norra is pretty okay in this deck. You know, there was a game against Pirates where I played Norra on 2, struck Nexus, and then turn 3 have a burst speed Badger Bear. That was pretty great. I loved that. I think that Minimorph is like surprisingly okay right now. Considering how bad the card usually is, you know, with the metagame that we're going into, it feels like it's hitting a lot of targets. And like I think that this deck is in a position that like it might be okay. It might be okay, especially because it's a Nami deck that doesn't use Twisted Fate. And right now, Twisted Fate is like, I don't know, one of the most fought for cards, it feels like, as far as your like tournament lineup. You know, where do you put your TF? Where do you put your Nami? Where do you put, you know, these champions? So I think it's definitely a solid deck. I don't think it's the best deck on the planet, but it's very fun, and I think that has potential.
I can't believe TF doesn't have a skin. He's like
like
when I think of LOR champions, I think of Twisted Fate. Right, like the face of Runeterra for me is Twisted Fate.
Hard
also kind of
slinger.
doesn't need one. Like, isn't Twisted Fate just like one of the coolest champions anyway, even without a skin? Like, Twisted Fate level up knows what's
Wait,
up.
can you imagine like if they have like an epic skin and all the cards have its own skin? Like, how insane would that be? Huh?
What does that mean?
No, like when red card, blue card, gold card go on
Yeah.
stack, you know, the epic cards have like different skins for their skills and abilities. They just have like a separate skin for each of them too. That'd be pretty dope.
That seems likely, possible.
Yeah.
You know, I could definitely see that.
I don't know, the meta just feels really open right now. It feels like you can play anything and it's very unsolved, and I'm having a really good time with it. I was climbing today with Demacia Lee Sin, so
I was unfortunately
Yeah,
also climbing with it. I played it and I was sitting there and I was like, bro, this deck is just like bad Akshan Lee. Why are you playing this? This deck's poopy butthole. And I'm like,
It's not.
4-1.
It does a bunch of really good things.
It does. I'm like winning games like handedly while telling him how much I don't think it's very good.
Well, I'm sitting D1. I think Maj, you're in a very similar
D1.
spot. We've just been bouncing up and down like 40, 60 LP, whatever it is. I'm just running into Kindred Nasus, Pirates, and like Gwen, Cat
Yeah.
over and over again. And it's like, I kind of don't exactly know how to play because I'm just like, oh, I queue like Kindred Nasus and then I face Pirates, or like I play like Pirates and I hit into like Gwen Cat, or like it's some weird cycle. I'm just kind of lost on what to play. For me at least, I haven't really found like a very, very like newish deck that I've like latched onto quite yet. I hit like Diamond earlier with Yasuo Katarina, and I haven't really been playing like too many new things, so I'm still looking for something. But one thing I have like at least somewhat enjoyed was this like Thresh Ashe deck, you know, like the classic freeze quietest kind of combo.
I've talked so much shit about that deck on camera over the last 3 days.
I've been doing decently with it. It's probably like one of my slightly better performing decks that I've at least played this season so far. So, and it's like it's a little bit more. It's not like it's at least interesting to me. So
Yeah.
I'll see if I can like make a push to the end. But
The
I'm just
reason-
bouncing between decks, and I can't really find the right one to hit Masters with right now.
The reason I'm not in Masters right now is because I was trying to record a video for that Thresh Ashe deck and lost like 5 in a row. So that's why
Bro,
when people are like, what do you think about this deck? I'm like, it sucks.
I'm 10-11 with Ashe Thresh, or 10-1, sorry, with Ashe Thresh.
10-1. Damn.
10-1.
The Chem, who's been like the main one championing the deck, posted on Twitter. He's like, hey, I made it to like Masters or whatever he made it to. Finally on this deck, I played like 50, 60 games on it or whatever. Here's the stats. I think it's really good. It doesn't have very many bad matchups. And he posts like the screenshot and it's like, boom.
It's like 57.
50 something. Yeah, like 60 games, 55% win rate. And I'm like, bro, you can't be like, I think this deck's really good. It has
to be fair, before we like lay the like throw flame at people, every one trick in their mind is gonna say the same thing about their deck, regardless.
No, true. But you like 55% in Masters is not a good enough win rate, right?
Yes, that is fair, and that is a true statement.
So
it is kind of fucked up how much like Masters LP gains and losses kind of warp our perception of win rates.
that's very
Because like
true.
I see 58 or 59%, and I'm like, that's dog shit, bro. You gotta
pump
bring
those
that
numbers
shit
up. Yeah.
If it's not 70%, you're like,
If that is true though,
I'm not doing it.
if I play 50 games on a deck and I'm not 65+% win rate, I'll drop the deck because I'm just like, it's not there. It's not good enough.
You're not climbing.
They're not climbing.
Not climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is weird because I'm currently sitting like D2 or something, right? And I'll say it's because I play mainly on stream, and because on stream I don't want to. I could like put my head down and jam like 50 games of Nami and like gain 400 LP. Like I definitely could, and I'm down to do that. But it feels kind of, am I back here just playing Nami again, ignoring all the play my
Ignoring
decks
my
and shit?
chatters and stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to figure out like how to climb or when to climb early season, I think. Because you want to play all the new shit, right? You don't want to just jam old stuff that's really good.
Are you coming after me right
Masters,
now? Is that
forget
what's going
about
on?
it.
Are you attacking me?
I mean, you are
No.
playing Auction Lee, which is semi-new,
Yeah.
but not new.
So
So
I'm playing
I don't know. We
Auction
want to
Lee
stand
as
with that.
Kennen. Dude, if nothing changes, I already know my seasonals lineup, man.
Is it
It's
just,
gonna
be
is it just
Ionia.
Ionia time?
It's
Is it
just gonna be
Ionia time?
like Auction Lee as Kennen, and then probably like, well, it's gonna be a Nami deck, probably the Shadow Isles one.
You know what I would like? I would love to play 3 Katarina decks. Katarina Gwen, Katarina Yasuo, and then... Actually, I don't know if there's a third Katarina deck.
I think that might be a little against the rules. Just to,
Yeah, it's
just to smidge it.
unfortunately.
Katarina's good, man.
Katarina's
Very
insane.
good. Very good.
Katarina's been hard carrying this dog shit Yasuo deck for months and months. So I mean, the fact that she finally, now she's hard carrying the dog shit Gwen deck. I don't know.
Whoa.
One day Gwen will find a real deck, or not Gwen, but Katarina will. One day.
That deck
What
is
does that mean?
significantly less good when they don't draw Katarina.
It's literally a Katarina deck. Like that deck it's like Katarina, Fallen Reckoner. That is the whole deck. That's it.
I mean, sure.
I'm just saying that I hope for the day where Katarina gets a real deck. That's all. Because she's
I
out
think
here.
that a
hard
day
What does
and
that
a half-
even mean?
I think a day and a half after she did, you would be complaining about how toxic it was.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Fuck Katarina.
Yeah.
100%.
If you want a Katarina deck, just play Katarina Yasuo. It's basically Katarina deck.
Yeah, let's cut Yasuo though. We can run anything
You
else.
could, but I think that makes it worse.
I mean, you could just play Katarina Yi, right? If we're going all the way.
Is
Yeah,
I
you
would
gotta
rather play Katarina Yasuo.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
I know. That was the point.
What is the best Yi deck is like the question I'm currently getting the most on my stream.
I
The
don't even
best
know how to
Yi deck
answer
is
that.
when-
I've seen like... Sorry, go for it.
The best Yi deck is when you put Yi Lee Sin together, and then you realize the deck gets better when you cut Yi.
Yep. I did that exact same maneuver. I was like,
I
damn,
think
this card sucks.
I think the best E deck is Victor Master E.
I agree.
But then you play Victor Master E and it turns into Victor Lee Sin. So, it's rough out there.
it's
It's rough out there.
He's just
Yeah,
not it.
I saw like a Fizzy, like the ghost papercraft kind of cheese elusive thing with like Yi. I don't know if it's probably not very good, but it's like the only Yi deck I've seen on ladder. And by
sounds
seen, I mean I've played against it once, and it's the only Yi deck I've ever played again.
Yeah,
So take as you will.
So, do you guys think? I'm pretty sure I know how I feel about this. Do you guys consider this expansion a bit of a failure because all the champs are bad?
No,
Not at all.
That's a very strange question to me.
Yeah,
I
think
understand
that
where. Sorry. Go
there's
for
a
it.
huge amount of really good cards and new archetypes and things that have come from this expansion. I think the format is crazy wide open. I've been playing different decks basically every time I sit down for a session. I don't know. I love this metagame.
No,
I don't know what you're on about.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. That's just something like that's what I see a lot from casual players. They're like, damn, none of the good champions are good. I don't care too much then. Like, what a bad, like, this sucks for my season or whatever. But for us, things shifting is more important. That's like how I felt. Like, oh, things are new, right? Like, even if the champs aren't the reason. Like, I think the design choices, a lot of the new stuff we saw, like the flip equipment, I'm going to call it flip, even though the cards don't technically flip. Like, that is fantastic design, right? I want more stuff like this. I love these modular cards, Tellstones, things like that. I think the game's just, the design is moving in an interesting direction. And I really like that.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen like I think hollowed has been one of the best keywords that we've seen in quite a long time. It's slotting in as a support kind of keyword, and it also has like its own archetype that can carry. And then this expansion, I think like I don't know if flip you mean like the darkened weapons.
Yeah,
But
that's what
I
I mean.
assume we're on the same page here. I think the dark weapons again are also some of the best design cards that we've seen. Like Zolani, Harazi or whatever those two cards are called, and then Terash a little bit more just as a support. But I think like these cards are phenomenally interesting and serve valuable purposes. And even though I think the champions, and I do understand like where that's coming from when we look at the champions not being very impactful, especially like last time was like what Riven, like Victor kind of time when the champions were like a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
Um, it's definitely like it definitely feels like you're not building around what the new set is all about, but like there's definitely a lot of cards out there that I think are seeing a lot of play. And so it's hard to evaluate really, but from a high level, it definitely seems that the main core, the focus of the expansion is a little bit diluted, but that's not to say there's some extraordinarily powerful things that are new and are really cool to play around with.
I think the big thing is for especially casual players, you know, they see the big splashy brand new champions and they want to jam the new champions because that's what's exciting, that's what's new, that's what's, you know, very big for them, right? So then when they go into the stream, it's like, oh well, what's the best Master Yi deck? What's the best Ornn deck? What's the best Kayn deck? You know, and like it's like, okay, so they don't have the best decks, but
We don't
see
do
they have
that
these
here.
they have really cool archetype. Oh, Wuju style, bro. I'll play Wuju style, and you know it's hard for a lot of people because
Right.
like they're less excited about stuff like that, which is totally understandable. I mean, that's why, you know, I'm not going to call people out, but there are people jamming 1 or 2 Ornns in their timelines deck, and they shouldn't be jamming 1 or 2 Ornns in their timelines deck. You know, it is what it is.
I think that's a great point, and I do need to get better about that because I am that guy that's on the stream, and when people come in and say, "Oh, hey, what's the best Master Yi deck?" I shut that shit down. I'm like, there are no good Master Yi decks. You're stupid for trying to play him. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
and I really should, because yeah, I mean, people just want to play the new cards and be like, probably Victor Yi. I don't have a list. Like, he's not the most competitive champion. You know, just like maybe not completely like right. Because I think of things from like a competitive standpoint, and it's really hard to divorce myself from that when people who maybe aren't so competitively focused ask me questions.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's something that I could probably do better in like doing myself too. But it's also really hard, like, because like I think some of the most impactful changes are not champions at all. It's like, but it's so hard. Like, hey, like guys, hate spike 1 mana, quiet is getting
Insane!
released.
Yeah.
Whoa! And it's like there's Evelyn just crying in a corner.
So speaking of newer cards, so Kayn, I know that Kayn was like really big and like people were excited about Kayn for a few days. We had the Zoe Kayn deck, there's Kayn Shurima. There's been quite a few different ways of building Kayn. Do we think that any of them have legs? Because on ladder it feels like Kayn has kind of fallen off the side of a building, you know. I haven't seen him in a while.
I actually still really like Zoe Kayn, but like 50% of the meta is like Ionia, and stuns and recalls and homecomings are really brutal for him.
I think Kayn is actually potentially still a very strong archetype. I put a lot of time into Zoe Kayn, and I put some time into Akshan Kayn. I think both of those potentially have ways to go. The Zoe Kayn deck eventually just morphed into the Zoe Aphelios SI deck that was kind of a Protect the Queen style that I ended up doing the push to Masters with. Honestly, that's kind of the most fun I've had in a long time. Anytime I can play SI Targon, like, I'm good to go. Life is good. But as far as like specifically Kayn goes, I think the odds that there is a solid Kayn deck are very high. I think that it's getting pushed out right now because there's so much out there that's a bad matchup for it. Kayn has problems into Kindred and he has problems into Ionia. And when those things are both really, really high tier, that makes trying to play Kayn a bit of a difficult ask.
I think he also has problems into like anything that's bigger than him. Like even slightly bigger than him. If your stuff has like 6 attack and the Kayn can't attack in like ever, you know, if like a Nasus comes down or like, you know, any other You know, they timelines on 4 and they drop this, you know, fucking 9-8 or some shit. It's really difficult to make anything happen with Kayn. And Kayn decks can't really run like top end other than Kayn. You know, there's not a whole lot bigger than Kayn that you're trying to run in your deck. And it's just, it's kind of rough to actually get past a lot of these decks. I think Kayn's cool. I think Kayn like has potential, but he's very limited by being a Runeterran champion. And yeah, his decks just don't really feel like they're hitting right now.
I feel like I'm being challenged. I need to go make a Kayn deck now.
I'll see you tomorrow.
And then you'll see 3 videos of your Kayn deck.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Sounds good to me. That was a fun one. I really liked playing that Zoe Kayn deck. I thought it was super fun. I still think it's pretty good because like you can go under people, kind of in a way, because like yeah, you know your Kayn is not big enough, but my Sparklefly is a 7/8. So like, what are you gonna do about that?
Yeah.
Like it was that deck, and like Jordan went to play like the Aphelios version. I went to play Zoe Lee with like the Darkened Blade, and that's really what it was. It was like a Darkened Blade deck. And I've never flipped Zoe so much in my entire life.
Right?
It's like 50% of the games. It's like insane. It's so nuts, especially Zoe Lee because you get the Momentous Choice and like counter spells and stuff. Insane.
Momentous Choice. That's a card
that's
that got released in the game Legends of Runeterra for some reason, huh?
Yep.
I don't know why we decided to nerf Twin Disciplines and then make it 1 mana. I don't get that.
It's kind of weird.
There's a lot of times where I'm the guy out here going like everybody's giving Riot too much shit and we all need to chill and it's probably not that broken, and I'm sitting here looking at this going we took Twin and we decided Twin was too strong because Twin was too strong and now it's 1 mana. What the fuck, man?
The condition is tough. It's tough. You have to play bad cards.
No, I agree.
Like Hookmaster's bad card.
Oh god, you had to play Hookmaster in your deck.
I don't want to play Hookmaster. Every time I play it,
Hookmaster's a great card. Fuck off.
And like it's only 3 copies, right? So like in Auction Lee or whatever, Momentous Choice is like usually not on. Eventually you'll get there, and then it's like insane. But I don't know. It's been good, but it hasn't been like super insane. Now it's gonna get broken in a Poppy Ionia deck, you know, just like always, right? Like it's gonna be unstoppable in some deck that runs equipment and like something like Poppy or Rally, where you're like, you have to deal with this unit. Now you can't because my trick is 1 mana. It's also very hard to play around, so I totally get why people are not stoked about it.
Doesn't Auction also like really like running like the 1 mana Weapon Master, because like slapping weapons onto Auction's like really strong?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I was trying out the 1 mana Weapon Master in my like Sivir on Ionia deck, and it felt okay, but I think honestly just the 1 mana Shroom and equipment is going to be better a lot of the time.
I think you might be
like
right.
Just having access to the big overwhelm and Zolani later in the game is pretty solid.
I'm running like MTUX version of Auction Lee, which now has like 1 copy of the 1 mana ephemeral guy, because you're running like 2 copies of Rite of Calling or whatever. And you usually sack like a Dragonling, your Hookmaster, or that guy. So yeah, it's okay. It's like it's never that good. Like every now and then you're like, oh, sick scout, and then you like get to put it on your Auction, kind of on curve, right on like 3 or whatever, and that's like super sick. But yeah, most of the time the card's just kind of like it's 1 mana, hope to get a good weapon, and then you still have to like spend the mana to put it on your unit. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think Momentous Choice is like such a fucked up card that like, you know, it kind of makes up for it. It's like an impossible card to play around. Actually impossible.
Yeah.
I hate the card so much. Speaking of cards we hate, another 1 mana card. How do we feel about timelines in current year?
Bro.
There's a lot of discourse on timelines.
Okay, old timelines was like I hated playing against it, but it was like okay. Right, the deck kind of did its thing. You had to play around Buried in Ice. Some decks couldn't really deal with Buried in Ice at the stairs, and like that sucked. But this new timelines, bro, like War Chefs or whatever his name is
Combat
like,
Cook.
Bro, I take 6 million damage from that card. Like the deck now when it hits timelines is like a tier 0 deck. Timelines on 0 turns it into a tier 0 deck in basically any matchup. But if it doesn't,
okay.
it's like tier 2.5. And I hate that. If it were just like always like a tier 1.5, I'm all right with that. Like it used to be. But now it's either like fucking insane or like not very good at all.
Yeah.
Can I would like to I generally agree with a lot of what you're saying about timelines. I think it's really fucking annoying. And like there are screenshots every single day of people dropping like massive things on turn 4 that is just like, this is unreasonable to spend 4 mana for. But I feel like between decks like timelines and decks like Ken and Ezreal that are really strong right now, there's a certain amount of, it feels like a lot of these decks power levels are determined by draw. Like not purely by draw, but definitely very heavily affected by it. I feel like Ken Ezreal is just like an incredibly inconsistent deck that's like, when it draws well, is actually unfucking beatable. And when it doesn't draw well, you also see the screenshots every single day of people having 0 cards to play by turn 4.
It do be like that
I don't,
sometimes, yeah.
It feels like, at least this meta, there's a few decks that are like at the top that, you know, have that sort of playstyle. It's very frustrating for me personally. I don't enjoy those types of decks. I don't enjoy that type of meta.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think that every time I see someone full mulligan in a timelines deck, I shake my head a little bit.
Because
Elaborate.
yeah.
Is that your opinion?
Because it's the right decision, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, 'cause, yeah, their power level goes so much when they hit it. Like, yeah, it used to be like, oh yeah, this card's really good in the matchup, and I'll keep Trundle if I hit timelines like anytime before turn 3. That's super sick or whatever. If not, no big deal. And now it's just like, oh, no timelines? Darn. Go next, I guess.
I mean, let's be like semi-honest. Like timelines in the past was just I get a free 8 drop on 8, and sometimes I get some more stats early on.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, I think especially with the improvised cards, and this is definitely a lot more prominent in the Jax timelines deck, which I think we all or most of us deemed as like a bad deck, and it has shown as being just a bad deck overall. Because it just really relies on like the improvised getting extra stats. And while that's less of a case now for like the Frogger deck, you know, it's still some sort of improvised ones, especially just Combat Cook, that I think are like slight issues. Now that one's less of an issue because it just runs less improvised cards overall, and its consistency is still like okay otherwise. But I do think like the timelines now and definitely in the future is, you know, it's like this like sort of like a ticking time bomb where eventually there's going to continue being cards that are just like these overstated things, like especially improvise and maybe down the line as well, that it's probably warranted to like see a little bit change or nerf or in some capacity just making it more expensive. I think that's been like the general consensus. But playing against it, I don't have the biggest issue, except for specifically the Jax deck, because that one just relies on having timelines, like 1 or 2. And then when they do, like I got like I played into this guy. They rolled like the Navori Conspirator. Is that the right one? 2 mana 2/2.
Yeah.
With elusive with Scout, and it just did 6 damage on turn 2, and then it did 8 damage on turn 4 because they buffed it outside my kill spell, and then I cried. So yeah.
Yeah, Jack's timeline specifically, I feel like isn't. I feel like even when that deck like draws well, I don't lose to that deck very often. I think that deck's really bad.
That deck just sucks. Yeah.
But like the timelines deck just does such ridiculously strong things with weapon masters. It gets absolutely disgusting. I hated before when they would aloof and get like a real unit. Like I'd be like, oh fuck you, come on. And now it's like, which of the best 4-drops in the game are they gonna drop this turn? It is very annoying. And you know, I don't know, even like the games where like they don't draw timelines and like I just run them over, that doesn't make me feel good about myself in the same way that the games where Ezreal Kennen never finds Kennen or never finds Ezreal. I don't feel good about myself. I just won because you drew poorly. And I really don't like those types of decks.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. A lot of times, like, Ezreal Kennen has games where, yeah, I have Kennen, I have the Seedling, I have the Recall at the right spot, and there's nothing my opponent can do, and I win. And, yeah, that happens, and then, you know, I sit there and I go, there's nothing my opponent can do. Like, I'm just going to win that game every time. And then there's the ones where, like, I don't play anything until turn 4, I miss my allegiance, I die, right? Or whatever. And then, but the games in between, unfortunately, I just like so much. I love close games with like the Ionia stuff, you know, like Ari Kennen. I would much rather play Ari Kennen than Ezreal Kennen, but it's just unfortunately really bad right now. And yeah, I just like it so much. But I totally get you, because if I didn't enjoy those middle games so much, I wouldn't play Ezreal Kennen for exactly that reason. I don't like to get curb stomped because the deck doesn't do the thing, and I don't like to curb stomp because my deck did do the thing.
At least, you know, Kennen Ari Kennen was like hyper consistent, so it beat your ass every game, you know? So
Yeah.
because then I could play it. But yeah, no, Ezreal Kennen's just a frustrating deck for me. And like, to be clear, I don't think that, you know, I don't think that like a massive number. I don't think like 50% of Ezreal Kennen games are like decided in Mulligan. I think that, you know, there's definitely a lot of play to that deck, and even the bad hands, like good players, will do incredibly well with them. Of course. But I don't know. It's just the variance there. I don't like that deck. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Do you think the timeline should get hot fixed?
Not hot fixed, but I wanted to get a serious looking at. How
do you nerf it?
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Because you don't want to like ruin it. You still want it to be fun for like casual players. It does feel bad because like timelines on 1 is uninteractable, right? Nothing in the game stops that, which is a pain in the ass. And I don't want to say
what you're
like
saying is they should print 1 mana counterspell.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Spell Pierce for all my Magic players. That'd be pretty sick. Actually, that would be kind of sick. 1 mana counter target spell unless it's controller phase 2. That's kind of sick. Yeah. That's kind of cool. You'd hate it, but that's kind of cool.
I think that's the big issue, is that, like, you know, a lot of people are. I've honestly seen more outcry for this deck to get hot fixed than like Kai'Sa. It feels like we all just like accepted that Kai'Sa was going to be tier 0 bullshit. But like, I don't know. I see like Mogwai's asking for hot fixes. There's like several people asking for hot fixes on timelines, which is fucking wild to me. Like, yeah. If I sat through Kai'Sa, bro, you have to sit through timelines. Come on.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Is it wild to you? Are you not used to this community finding any excuse to complain and say that this needs to be fixed now?
Card game communities don't complain.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Majin. I was a bit in the wrong place.
I think usually when we complain about it, it's like, okay, yeah, no, this shit's bullshit. It needs to get changed. But like, just the amount of people that are asking for specifically a hot fix for this, I think it's just really surprising. That's all. I'm used to people complaining. It's me. Come on. Complaining will happen. Don't get me wrong. But it's just the hot fix specifically that I find interesting.
I'd like to get changed. Yeah. I don't know if they need to like full hot fix, right? Like, it's fine. It's annoying, but like, whatever. It's not that bad. Just a pain in the ass to lose to that deck. When they just like high roll you and you're like, all right then, that was fun. I think if they fix it at some point, that's fine. I just don't want to be playing against concurrent timeline decks forever. Because like you said, it's a card that's going to just only get better and better and better, right? Like Nami, like Rummage, right? These cards just get stronger. And if you just leave them, there's going to be problems.
Speaking of Nami, I feel like we talked about Nami like several times. I think that we could pull a clip of me in December saying that Nami's fucked up and is like going to be broken.
Yep.
Are we kind of? It feels like that's kind of coming to a head right now.
I think we're there.
I think we're there. Nami's hitting a lot of decks now. To be fair, like the win rates on these decks aren't incredibly high. They are like here and there. You know, people post their screenshots, and you know, if you look at like specifically like Masters data, it's pretty high. But like, you know, Nami, of course, always has like the shield of being a very difficult deck to play. Do you think that we're to the point where Nami actually sees a nerf? I hope not before seasonals. I'd like to play at least one more seasonals with Nami.
I would also like to play one more seasonals with Nami. I think like, okay, let's be honest. Like Nami needs what Nami. Okay, I'm looking at chat. Someone said Nami equals elusive win con. She doesn't do anything else. And I just like, I don't think that's the truth. Like, people like that idea is what's keeping Nami from having 60+% win rates, like on ladder, right? Like that's just not what Nami does anymore. Nami's like a mid-rangey, almost like control deck. She's an engine, and yeah, a lot of her power comes from like if she just plays an elusive unit and you can't deal with it, you just die. But that's like that's just a feature. You know what I mean? Like that's not the whole package anymore. These Nami decks can grind you out, and I think if we had one more like elusive unit or unit with like a proper keyword printed that works for the Nami deck, I think it would just end up being like way too good. Like, could you imagine Nami TF with another card printed that has the impact of like Burblefish or Shellfolk? Not Shellfolk. What is it? Shelly? Yeah.
Shelly. Yeah, Fleet Admiral.
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't know. I love Nami. I hate
Me
Nami,
too,
but
yeah.
also I fucking love Nami, dude.
I like Nami.
I love the Nami decks, especially the SI one. The SI one just feels so good to play. I love this deck so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you ever tried to play Demacia into Nami? And like, you know, you think you're ahead,
No.
and then suddenly they have flip Nami with a double trouble, and now you're swinging in, and suddenly their 1 attack units have 5 attack, and wait, what happened? Where'd my board go? It's rough out there.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
rough.
let's be real, Kato. Has Majin ever played Demacia into anything?
Probably not.
No.
I'll be honest,
that'd
like
be a
I feel like a lot of power level, and this may or may not necessarily be true, but like TF Nami gains a lot of edge where they buff their TF by like 2 health, and then all of a sudden you just can't kill it, they flip TF. Like that's gonna happen like what, 30, 35, 40% of games.
Happens a lot.
And
It's those
I'm not gonna
octagonal
say-
win conditions, man.
yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna say like
Octagonal?
I'm
Excuse
not gonna
me?
say it's I'm not gonna say it's TF's fault, but it is, but it's also like Nami's fault as well, right? Like TF might hit the flag for that, but like Nami is definitely, you know, it's something's off.
So real quick, we were talking about win rates a second ago. Last season, SI Nami was hovering like 49%. Right now it's 52. Earlier this season, Pink Nami was like 58%.
Saw
Now
that.
it's 53. Bandle Nami is 51% right now. So like not crazy win rates being thrown up. And like TF okay, so TF is like hands down like top 3 champions in the game and kind of like has been like for like ever.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't want to nerf him. You know, I don't know. I like TF a lot.
He's
I
a
think TF's
great
cool.
champ. Like, one of your champions is going to be one of the best, right? And TF's not like the best. He's not like a step above the rest. And as far as like champions that are really good, that's a good champion to have be one of your best. He's flexible. He rewards good play. He's not going to like run you over. It's not like TF, old TF is, right? Like, there's nothing you can do about it. I like him.
I think red
As long
card
as
is a
he's
bit
not,
too
like-
oppressive right now.
As long as he's not like insta flipping on 5, I think he's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I know that Jason's talking about like, you know, TF flipping a lot in these decks. I don't know. I feel like TF is there to like run interference, and you know, like he gets to like 4, you know, out of 9, and then your opponent's like, ah, shit. Okay, well,
Yeah,
I have to
damn
kill
it.
him somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you will lose the game. I don't. TF is hitting like how many decks right now? 5, 6. TF's good. Just really fucking good.
It's like go hard days where you're like,
I forgot what the point you're
He's
trying
just
to
in
make
everything.
was.
TF
I don't
good.
know.
Don't want to nerf.
TF's really good.
Oh
What
yeah,
about
you started
Pirates?
talking about their win rates, how they were higher, now they're a little lower, but they're higher
Yeah.
than last season.
Nami decks are actually bad, by the way. Don't nerf it. Win rates are low. Look at them.
Yeah, wait till I win seasonals, then you can nerf it.
Yeah, if we could wait, that would be great.
That'd be
You know, maybe
so
Worlds as well.
Worlds, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean today I was telling everybody today starts my like, I guess like grind, where my
Ladder.
YouTube content's gonna be mostly competitive focused, because that's just like that's all I'm gonna be playing, is me playing on the main account. I'm gonna be trying to get up to front page masters so I can get that Worlds qualification.
Like you do.
Like you do.
So as far as Worlds qualification, so Majin, you have to like get a high rank or do well in the next seasonals.
Yeah,
to
I'm
qualify?
pretty
Is that right?
open, honestly. Like
Okay.
all 3 avenues are still open for me. Obviously, the one where you top 4 or top 8 or whatever, but can't count on that. But yeah, I think like I played in 2 seasonals or something. I think I went like 7-2, 7-2.
Okay.
So
Jason, where are you at with Worlds quali?
I need a top 4 slot.
Okay. Top 8 this season.
top 8.
Oh, top 8. Let's
Easy,
go.
dude.
Mhm.
What are you even worried about?
So yeah. So like some of you might know, but I've definitely leaned a little bit less towards competitive, and you know, last 3 seasons, 2 of them I want to try top like seasons with Yasuo. Not saying it's not possible or anything like that, but not saying it's a hindrance either. But I definitely like, I don't know, it's less of a priority to me at least. Be cool if I make it, and I'll play Yasuo at Worlds or something like that. But it's definitely
That'd be
more
dope.
like a that'd be cool kind of thingy.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, what are you at as far as world's qualities?
I think that I'm likely to be locked through ladder points, but I'm definitely not confident enough in that to slack off this season. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Have they updated the like scores yet from last
No.
season?
I don't know. So I never paid attention to the ladder quality, so I don't actually know like what I would need to hit. I think I finished a season like I don't know, like 25 or something. Like if I hit rank 1, does that get me in?
I don't know.
Is that enough?
I have to ask like Kev or something.
Yeah,
He's definitely a
you
lot
should
more
ask
into
Kever, because
that.
I hit rank 2, and I don't know what I need to hit. I'm just saying top 10 because I'm pretty sure that like super locks me, and then I don't have to worry about it.
So as far as like seasonals performances, I've topped 2 of the last 3. I went 6-3 in the last one. So I think that like from seasonals performances, as long as I top this one, I think I'm probably in. I don't know.
Yeah, you should
I'm
be
just
good.
gonna aim to top 8.
Bro, just win.
Yeah, I'm just gonna win. Easy.
Yeah, I'm sure like either Henneke or Kever can help you figure that out. They're
Yeah.
pretty into that.
Dope. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Worlds is exciting. That's coming up next couple months, maybe 3 months. It has to be in the next 3 months. So I mean,
Yeah, it was this month last year. Remember that?
it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
It got moved back a bit. Yeah, dude, these couple months are gonna be very busy for me. So like, I just got back from France, right, for the Flesh and Blood Pro Tour, and then there's Flesh and Blood Nationals in 2 weeks, and then there's seasonals, and then there's Flesh and Blood Worlds, and then there's Runeterra Worlds, and it's like bam, 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 bam. So it's just gonna be, I'm just all competitive right now. Just switch has been flipped. Not the fun content creator. What's up?
Are you like qualified for Flesh and Blood Worlds or no?
Not yet. I'm pretty close. So I'm going to nationals specifically to try to qualify.
Dope.
Yeah. We'll see.
Back on the top of LOR, how do you guys feel about Pirates? Is Pirates a good deck?
Yeah.
Drizzoth. Okay, wait. Maybe let me reframe this. Drizzoth put out a tweet today where he said that no exaggeration, hot take, he genuinely thinks that Pirates is a top 3 difficulty deck in the game right now and is one of the most difficult decks we've ever seen in LOR. How do you guys feel about that?
That's
an interesting take.
There's a lot of, I think the skill like ceiling is pretty high with the deck. Top 3 of all time is like an absolute no for me. Like not even remotely close.
If we lumped all of Ionia into one deck, then I might agree.
Then maybe.
You
still have all the Nami decks.
He said right now the only decks that he thinks in this meta that are harder are Ionia Nami and Ezreal Kennen. He thinks Pirates is number 3.
I actually think Ionia Nami is easier to play than Shadow Isles Nami.
Oh, you think so?
But I think that we might both be biased because I played Infinite Ionia and he's played Infinite Shadow Isles Nami. Right? So like the Ionian play patterns are like super simple for me, and he's probably like super used to the Shadow Isles Nami play patterns.
I think your mana curve for Ionia is just more awkward because you have a lot more 4-mana spells you need to play.
Perhaps. You also have the 1-mana Vastayan Disciple, which I think is like such a sick card, by the way.
You have Denies just burning a hole in your fucking hand? Dude, the Ionia one's fucking awkward sometimes.
Can be. Yeah. When, every time I play the Ionia one and my opponent plays Kindred, I'm like, ah. Because you just like can't do anything about it. It's just on the field. You're like trying to like keep these dinkers around to get sacrificed.
So in support of Drizzoth, I do think that Pirates nowadays, especially with Sermon, there's a lot of really deep plays that you can make, right? Like you have the ability to go late. You have the ability to bank into your Sherman. There are times where it's correct not to, like triple 1-drop. And I think that there is more to the deck than there has been previously. And that said,
that's where I draw the line, though. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a floor, like your base level performance on Pirates is pretty high.
Yeah.
And when we start talking about stuff like Nami, like, bro, if you don't know what you're doing, like, I don't know. You don't fall ass backwards into wins as much as you do with pirates,
Yeah,
you know?
triple one drop into MF still just beats my ass like on the daily, right? Um, yeah, yeah, the ceiling's higher than like pirates decks have been in the past and stuff, but it's not like okay. If like top 3 most difficult decks of all time, it's got to be like TF Fizz, Ari Ken and Go Hard. We're talking like highest ceiling, right? Highest ceiling, maybe even like hard to get into, like really hard to have a good performance. And then probably one of the Nami decks.
I think assumedly it would be, you know, you're very low floor and a very high ceiling, right? So if
Yeah.
you play it poorly, you're gonna have very low success. If you play it incredibly well, then you're gonna have very high success.
Yeah. Old Zoe Lee. The Tempo Lee, like Mountain Goat Zoe Lee.
The goat one.
Yeah. I think that one was like, if you didn't know what you were doing, like you sucked ass. Like you just weren't winning. You know?
I think that like stuff like Shellfolk, especially like Glorious Evolution Shellfolk was incredibly difficult.
I agree. And if you don't know what you're doing, you just lose. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like Sivir Akshan is actually like an incredibly deep deck that a lot of people just kind of write off because it's the Demacia deck. I think that one's like surprisingly deep.
That one took me by
I'll
surprise.
put pirates above Sivir Akshan.
I think I would maybe. I was incredibly biased against Sivir Akshan until I took the time to learn it because I had to for Worlds. And then it became one of my favorite decks of all time. Like that shocked
I
me.
think
I refused to play Sivir Akshan, and then it got nerfed, and then I picked up. I'm like, okay, this deck's actually sick as fuck.
Yeah. Like
I think what's so like interesting about modern day pirates now is like you are like this now like semi like tempo-ish kind of deck because you can just float some mana, but like you can't afford to like really burn your mana either because you need to spend every point of mana that you can, and I don't think that's the same for most. Like I don't think most tempo decks can necessarily say the same thing necessarily, as long as, you know, they're ahead of their opponent, because, you know, they can go past a few turns and they don't necessarily rely on burn damage to finish their opponent out. But I think pirates has this added element where they need to spend their mana on burn as well without like losing out on tempo either. And I think that can be very difficult and has some definitely decision points, like do I develop, do I bank mana, do I try like open attack with Eye of Nakaboros, or is that better just like develop into my turn? Things like that I think are actually quite difficult to do, and especially when you can't like afford to like burn any mana almost in like a very close matchup. I think there's definitely points where it becomes very blurred on what the right lines can be, and I think there's definitely some room for that. So high respect for like very high leveled pirates players, but I will also say that sometimes deck just runs you over because they drop 6/1 drops.
Sometimes it just ooga boogas you. Yeah.
There's definitely scary shit. Like if the pirates player has token on 2 and they don't swing into your blockers, it's like, okay, I'm fucked. I'm actually so fucked here. Are you sure you don't want to trade this down right now?
Please.
I'll take the 3 damage red. Come on.
Please, yeah. Before you get like Make It Rain and red carded into oblivion.
Yeah. When they don't red card you on 4 and save it for 5, like, dude, I fucking die to that shit all the time.
Oh, they don't have it.
They just keep developing, and then they open red card. It's like, oh fuck me, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Good deck, hard deck to master. Don't like. Definitely not a top 3 of all time. No, in my opinion. Now I'm not really a pirates player, so like my take is slightly biased. But
where's Florent at? He's the pirates player.
Yeah, right. Get him in here.
I think the deck's really good. I think playing it optimally is very difficult. I think that when we get into things like saying, oh, this is the best deck of all time, oh, this is the second best deck of all time, we're not really having a useful discussion anymore. So I tend to stay away from that.
It's just fun though.
It's the fun nerd thing though, right? It's like, oh, Superman would definitely beat up Batman. Oh, come on.
Yeah, but can Goku? That's the question, right? Yost with the most. Austin Yost told me something that I thought was so funny. We were sitting there talking about stuff and discussing like creators like tier lists and things, and you know, matchups and stuff, and he's just sitting there and he goes, you know, tier lists are just like vibes, man. And I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. So that's how I think of it now. It's just all vibes.
I could see it.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
except for on MasteringTerra.com, where that tier list is 100%
Factual.
objective.
Yep.
And
100%.
And
No
everybody
bias
else's opinions are opinions. Our opinions are facts.
Exactly. Yeah. MasteringRuneterra.com. Check it out now. Speaking of, we had our biggest like few day period on Mastering Runeterra with
Ooh,
with the release of the new set. So like September, the first few days of September has been our biggest days ever, which is
Let's go.
exciting for multiple
Pretty
reasons.
cool.
Love to see
like,
it.
you had mentioned earlier that you felt like, because the new champions, people might be kind of disappointed with this set. I feel like this set has actually been huge for like re-energizing a lot of people into like coming and playing the game. Like I've gotten so many people that come in, it's like, I haven't played this game in a while. I took a break because of X, Y, and Z, but now I'm back, and what do I need to play? What do I need to look at? I feel like people are getting excited about the game right now. I think this set's been incredibly good for the game.
Yeah, I think and trying not to like pat my own back or whatever, but I think like us creators or whatever being excited does so much for the game, right? Like it is so detrimental when someone's like, maybe I'll dip my toe back into Runeterra, and then they like click on a stream and it's me just ranting about how Kaisa has ruined the game, right? Like they're not gonna play it, they're not gonna try it. But yeah, when they check on a stream and we're just like, we're having fun, we're discussing all this new stuff, right? Like we're excited to build our lineups for seasonals, like that. It's just a different energy. It's just all vibes, man. It's just all vibes. And yeah, so I think like that's a big deal too. And it's just the game's just fun right now. I'm just really enjoying it. I think other people probably are too.
True. But a week from now, man, I mean,
Oh yeah, fuck that game, bro. I'm playing TFT.
Dude,
all right, we
once-
got anything else we want to
once
talk
the
about before we head out?
once the Timelines players start putting Ravine in their deck, dude, then I'll be on the hotfix nerf bandwagon.
Out of here. See you guys later. I have not seen a Ravine since it was nerfed. Not one.
Really?
I
Not
just forget
one.
where.
Do you guys not run to peak online? Dude, maybe I
yeah.
get sniped by all the fucking peak players. I run to a lot of peak players, dude.
I run into
and
it
I
every
can't
now
beat
and
Pete.
then. Yeah. Did you by chance see my video for the day? Were you able to watch some of it? Okay,
No.
go click on it. Leave a like, and then go to the very last
Subscribe,
game. I play
comment.
against Peak, and it just get rolled like so bad. It's pretty humorous.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see my video? So you put out your Timelines video. I put out my Timelines video the exact same day, and we ran into each other on ladder and
Mhm.
played the mirror match. Did you watch my clip from that or no?
People told me about it. Yeah, people told me about
Okay.
it.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Mhm.
It was pretty funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take off. I'll catch
All
you
right,
guys.
I'll see
later.
you
All right.
later.
Yo, peace
I
out,
don't
dude.
have anything else really. I'm good. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Anything else? No?
I don't think so.
All right.
You nailed it. You did a great job hosting.
Thank
I
you.
want you to know
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I've been working on my
Cool.
hosting skills.
Go watch Majin's video.
Go watch my video. Go watch me
in
lose
hours.
to Targon's Peak and their videos. Go watch Aikedo lose to me in the timelines
Hmm.
deck. All right,
Bro,
guys.
come on. You drew Timelines and I didn't. It wasn't
Yep,
my
it was
fault.
easy peasy. All right, guys. Thank you for
have
coming
that
out.
vid-
Yo,
Alright,
peace out.
See you next time.
Peace out, guys.